I think the one I enjoyed reading more than anything else. I'm 75 now, and I can't remember anybody except the Queen being there.
The royal family becomes more unstable with each passing day. A monarchy that has been rooted in order for centuries now finds itself embroiled in chaos. At the center of that chaos is the Queen herself, Camilla. She has had to continue to stand trial at the hands of the general public, with many expressing their displeasure at her being queen. Why has the monarchy found itself embroiled in chaos? And how does Camilla play into all of this? Join us as we uncover the verdict delivered on Camilla and if this means goodbye forever. The Court of Public Opinion. Queen Camilla enjoys a very volatile relationship with members of the public as she still struggles to gain total acceptance. As members of the royal family, it is of utmost importance that they enjoy a close relationship with the people whom they govern. However, the monarchy has not enjoyed popular support in recent years. This is due to a number of reasons, the most important of which is the internal conflict brewing within the royal family. Hence, their popularity has taken a nosedive. Of all the members of the royal family, she suffered a crushing popularity blow as polling analysis exposed what could be termed as an alarming trend for the royal family. A poll conducted on the favorability of the royal family showed that the monarchy was failing to gain popularity among young people, Labour voters, and Scots. The survey included over 2,000 British adults, and it found that she was the least popular senior working member of the royal family. Other members of the royal family who had favorable ratings compared to her include Princess Kate, Prince William, Princess Anne, the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh, her husband, and King Charles. Although the most unpopular of the royals, it seems she still enjoys some support, as her highest popular rating came from conservative voters at 68%, while only 39% of Labour votes held a positive view of the king's wife. It comes as no surprise that the Queen holds the lowest positive rating of the central family members. Her popularity has greatly increased since getting married to the king in 2005. However, as the polls show, the Queen has some way to go before breaking into the top 5 most popular royals. However, she is not the only one to be worried about her popularity, as there were some concerning statistics about the popularity of the royal family amongst the younger people, raising questions about the role of the monarchy for future generations. However, the royal family at least still enjoys some popularity amongst those aged 18 to 24 among the populace. Camilla has, for a long time, had a rocky relationship with members of the public, and she has oftentimes been pointed at as the reason for the chaos being experienced by the royal family. Why? The villain in the story. The whole world stood still as Prince Charles got married to Lady Diana. It was the stuff of fairy tales. However, little did we know that there was someone else, a third person in the marriage, and that caused everything to come crashing down. On July 29, 1981, Charles and Diana were married at St. Paul's Cathedral, and Camilla was a guest in attendance at the celebration. Also, according to royal biographer Andrew Morton, she was the cause of an early and significant clash between the newlywed couple. Charles and Diana had allegedly fought when Diana supposedly found an engraved necklace intended for Camilla while opening wedding gifts. Also, there are reports that Charles told Diana that a certain amount of time would always be put aside for Camilla. Charles and Camilla could not get over each other, and soon they began having an affair in 1986, despite both being married to other people. Later, in 1995, during an interview with BBC One's Panorama, Diana spoke about Camilla's relationship with Charles, saying that there were 3 of them in the marriage, and that is why it was a bit crowded. Also, in an audio tape Diana made for Morton, her biographer, she revealed that she had confronted Camilla about her affair at a party, telling her that she knew what was going on between her and Charles, and that she wanted to let her know that she knew. Camilla, not one to keep silent, responded to Diana, noting that she was a lucky woman, having gotten everything she ever wanted. She added that Diana had all the men in the world fall in love with her. And she also had 2 beautiful children. What more did she possibly want? Responding to Camilla, Diana retorted that she wanted her husband. Also, a habit that endeared her to the whole world and earned her the nickname People's Princess. Diana apologized for her for standing in the way of her love with Charles, acknowledging that the whole sneaking around must be tough on them both. But she just wanted them to know that she knew, and she was not an idiot. All the while, Charles and Camilla had managed to keep their relationship a secret from the general public, that is, until 1993. In the early weeks of 1993, they faced their first scandal of the year. At that time, the Mirror published a full transcript of a leaked phone call between the two, dubbed Camillagate, that took place in 1989. In the transcript, the two spoke intimately about their physical relationship and how much they each cared about the other. It was on this phone call that Camilla uttered the infamous words, "It would be so wonderful to have just one night to set us on our way, wouldn't it?" The tapes caused a massive scandal for the royal family, and all but confirmed the persistent affair rumors that had been swirling around the two for years. 1 year later, in June of 1994, Charles appeared in a TV documentary about himself. During his interview, he was asked about the rumors of his affair with Camilla, including whether or not he had been faithful and honorable to Diana. To which he replied, "Yes, yes, until it became irretrievably broken down, us both having tried." When asked about his relationship with Camilla, he replied that she had been a friend for a very long time, and she would continue to be a friend for a very long time. Well, she was quite the friend indeed for the prince then. Camilla would, however, finalize her divorce from her husband, Andrew Parker Bowles, and Charles would do the same with Diana, leaving the two of them finally free to pursue their long-term goal of being together. At first, it appeared that Camilla seemed to enjoy marital bliss with Andrew, but it soon became clear that things were not as they appeared. Why did her marriage to Andrew Parker Bowles break down? The end of a union. On July 4th, 1973, at the Guards Chapel in Wellington Barracks, London, Captain Andrew Parker Bowles and Camilla Shand tied the knot in front of 800 guests. The wedding, at that time, was the most talked-about social ceremony of that infamously hot British summer. Both newlyweds had close ties to the royal family. Andrew Parker Bowles's parents were friends of the Queen Mother, and he had served as a page at the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II. She, on the other hand, was already romantically linked to the then Prince Charles at the time. For her first wedding to Andrew Parker Bowles, Camilla stunned in a white gown with a bias-cut ruffle neckline and wide balloon sleeves of silk voile. The dress was embellished with a mini voile that echoed the pattern of the neckline. On her head, she donned a wide foot-length white veil, which was adorned with the cubit shan tiara, sometimes referred to as the cubit tiara. The diamond-encrusted piece was added to Camilla's family collection by her grandmother, Sonia Keppel Cubit, which was then passed down to Camilla by her mother, Rosalind Shand. Andrew Parker Bowles, a British Army officer who later rose to the rank of brigadier, first met Camilla in the late 1960s. However, the couple did not announce their engagement until 1973. On July 4th of that year, the two were married in a Roman Catholic ceremony, followed by a reception at St. James's Palace. Among the guests were the Queen Mother, Princess Margaret, and Princess Anne. However, Camilla and Andrew's marriage was far from perfect, as rumors spread around that Andrew continued to have affairs. However, these rumors were not one-sided, as there were plenty of rumors about Camilla, too. Though Charles had wed Diana Spencer in 1981, officially making her Princess of Wales, there was talk that it was during this time that Camilla and Charles reignited their affair, while Charles was married to Princess Diana. There were plenty of rumors about the love triangle, but the controversy exploded in 1992 when tapes of a phone call between Charles and Camilla came to light. The leaked recording of a call from 1989 revealed a racy conversation between the pair and was released soon after Diana and Charles announced their separation. The recording also put more pressure on the marriage of Camilla and Andrew. It created even more trouble for him and Camilla, and took a massive toll on Diana, though she had an affair of her own. Still, Camilla remained married to Andrew despite the scandal that surrounded their marriage and that of Charles and Diana. They held out until 1995, when Camilla and Andrew finally divorced, releasing a statement to declare that their split was a private matter. The statement read that throughout their marriage, they had always tended to follow somewhat different interests, but in recent years, they had led completely separate lives. Although their divorce was made official in 1995, it was reported that the couple had ended their marriage 3 years before the release of the statement, due to persistent reports that they'd both been having affairs. Although Camilla and Charles' love affair had a messy start, with the public frowning at it and expressing their displeasure at every given opportunity, this did not stop the lovebirds from forging ahead. How did they do that? A union made in heaven. King Charles and Queen Camilla married on April 9, 2005, and it was met with mixed reviews from the public. The ceremony was intimate, with only 28 guests, including the king's sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, and Camilla's children from her marriage to Andrew Parker Bowles, Tom Parker Bowles, and Laura Lopes. Charles's parents, Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip, did not attend the wedding ceremony itself. As head of the Church of England, the Queen ultimately decided that it was not appropriate for her to be at the wedding of two people who had each divorced their previous partners. However, they were present for the service of prayer and dedication at St. George's Chapel in Windsor Castle afterward. They held a reception for the couple in Windsor Castle and hosted a reception for the newlyweds. After announcing their engagement in February 2005, the couple wed 2 months later on April 9th. They held their nuptials at Windsor Guildhall, right outside of Windsor Castle, and opted for a civil ceremony since they both were divorced. Following the civil ceremony, the newlyweds then made their way to St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle for a religious blessing by the Archbishop of Canterbury, Dr. Rowan Williams. Queen Elizabeth II was also in full support of the union, as she made it clear before her passing away that Charles and Camilla had her full support when she announced her wish for Camilla to be known as Camilla, Queen Consort, when her son ascended the throne. She made the statement when celebrating the 70th anniversary of her ascension in February 2022, marking the first time she publicly backed the couple. According to the late monarch, she noted that when, in the fullness of time, her son Charles became king, she knew the public would give him and his wife Camilla the same support that they had given her. She added that it was her sincere wish that, when that time comes, Camilla would be known as Queen Consort as she continues her own loyal service. Since she is now an integral part of the royal family, her relationship with other members of the royal family is of utmost importance now. Despite her low ratings with the public, how does she fare in her relations with other members of the royal family? An intricate web. Navigating relationships in the royal family can be pretty tough. Ever since he took the throne, King Charles has been able to count on the loyal support of his younger sister, Princess Anne. The Princess Royal has continued to keep up her busy schedule of royal engagements with her brother as monarch. However, her relationship with his wife, Queen Camilla, is said to have been less smooth sailing over the years. It is reported that tensions between the two women once led to Anne making a brutal prediction about Camilla's future in the royal family, according to a royal expert. Author Angela Levin claimed in her book, titled Camilla Duchess of Cornwall: From Outcast to Future Queen Consort, that the relationship between the two women took a long time to warm up. In the beginning, just like many people who didn't know Anne well, Camilla found her frosty demeanor difficult and somewhat unnerving to cope with at first. There have also been reports that Anne was, for many years, opposed to the idea of Camilla being given the title of Queen Consort, and even once made the brutal prediction that Camilla would never be a true queen. These days, relations are said to have improved between the two women as time has proven to be a healer, with Anne's opinion of Camilla becoming more positive over the years. In 2024, the two women took part in a rare joint engagement at the University of London, where the Princess Royal presented her sister-in-law with an honorary doctorate. At this event, something extraordinary took place. When the Queen asked her to break royal protocol, Princess Anne had a by-the-royal rulebook response. The two women had a rare joint engagement on November 20th when the Princess Royal, 74, who also doubles as the Chancellor of the University of London, presented the Queen, 77, with an honorary doctorate of literature for of literacy and literature over many years. Shortly after the two arrived at the University of London, Queen Camilla invited Princess Anne to enter the room before her, where they were due to meet the other 4 recipients of the University of London's honorary doctorate awarded alongside the Queen. But according to the Daily Express, Princess Anne, long a student of royal protocol, smiled and politely refused, allowing Camilla to enter first. The order of precedence is a sequential hierarchy of nominal importance and is mostly seen at work for formal or state occasions. Although Anne, the only daughter of the late Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip, was born into the royal family, Camilla, as queen, ranks higher in the royal precedence. Therefore, keeping to protocol, Anne let her sister-in-law go first. However, their relationship is far from a tense one these days. Anne had some kind words to say about her sister-in-law. She noted that she had known her a long time, off and on, and her understanding of her role and how much difference it makes to the king has been outstanding. Although she seems to enjoy a firm relationship with her sister-in-law, what kind of relationship does she share with her stepsons? The Grinch. Queen Camilla first met Prince William in 1998. While their first meeting was far from perfect, their relationship has improved in the years since. William has warmed up to Camilla over time, and they have a familial relationship these days. However, Camilla had her work cut out for her when joining the royal family. William and Harry had always distrusted Camilla and felt resentment toward her because of their devotion to their mother. While she now enjoys a bit of a cordial relationship with the heir to the throne, her relationship with Prince Harry is quite different. In his memoir, the Duke of Sussex revealed that in 2005, he and Prince William pleaded with their father not to marry Camilla. Charles, who is now king, had been engaged in a long-standing affair with Camilla during his 15-year marriage to Princess Diana. According to Harry, despite William and himself urging him not to, King Charles was going ahead, so they pumped his hand and wished him well. No hard feelings. According to Harry, they both recognized that he was finally going to be with the woman he loved, the woman he'd always loved. In passages that many stepchildren will relate to, Harry reflected on difficult moments adjusting to his father's new marriage. In one story, likely from the late 90s, Harry recalls wondering if Camilla would be cruel to him, like all the wicked stepmothers in storybooks, noting that William long harbored suspicions about the other woman. Harry also claims that Camilla converted his bedroom into her dressing room as soon as he moved out of their former residence, Clarence House, when he was 28. Harry also took his criticism of Camilla much further with statements on her character. He has alleged that Camilla had a calculated agenda to remedy her public image as the other woman, one that paved the way for her marriage and eventual Queen Consort title. Throughout her relationship with Charles before his ascension to the throne, Camilla was known for carrying out charity work and royal duties to rehabilitate her image, efforts recognized by the late Queen Elizabeth, who endorsed her daughter-in-law with a consort title on the eve of her Platinum Jubilee last February. But Harry believes Camilla's efforts to improve her standing with the public went further. In his first promotional interview with ITV correspondent Tom Bradby, Harry elaborated on the relationship between the royal family and the British press, which he said involved a lot of briefings, leakings, and plantings. He accused members of the royal family of getting into bed with the devil, citing an instance when Camilla allegedly leaked one of her early conversations with William. However, the Telegraph reported that it was Camilla's former assistant who leaked the conversation, and that she was subsequently let go. In Spare, Harry writes that his father and Camilla's spin doctor decided they should throw Harry right under the bus. He writes that they leaked news of his drug use in 2002, saying that Prince Charles sent Harry to a substance rehabilitation center to garner sympathy for Charles as a father and for their relationship. Harry also writes that in 2019, William was livid because Pa and Camilla's people had planted a story or stories about him, Kate, and the kids, and he wasn't going to take it anymore. Harry further escalated his allegations against Camilla in a second interview with 60 Minutes by calling her dangerous because of the connections she has with members of the media. According to him, there was open willingness on both sides to trade information, and with a family built on hierarchy, and with her on the way to being queen consort, there were going to be people or bodies left in the street, he told host Anderson Cooper. He then described his stepmother as the villain and the third person in the marriage, echoing his mother's controversial interview with Martin Bashir in 1995, when Diana said there were 3 of them in the marriage. Harry added that he had complex feelings about gaining a step-parent who, he believed, had recently sacrificed him on her PR altar. However, Harry expressed that, funnily, he wanted Camilla to be happy. Maybe she'd be less dangerous if she were pleased. The royal family chose to remain silent in response to the book, but many British publications started reporting that Camilla did not leak the stories Harry describes. The BBC's former royal correspondent Jenny Bond wrote an essay for the newspaper describing how she tried to forge a relationship with the Queen Consort to no success. Bond claimed that she had coffee with Camilla several times. Still, the royal reportedly snubbed her with a polite, handwritten letter expressing that she had no interest in cultivating a special relationship with any journalist. Also, in an interview with Good Morning America, Harry seemed to soften his stance on Camilla, saying that he has a vast amount of compassion for her. He added that they haven't spoken in a while, but he loves every member of his family, so they remain cordial. What do you make of Camilla's relationship with the public? Do you think she is being judged too harshly? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it.